Alright, dude, it's me, Z, and welcome to the very first episode of Boxcast. Now, Boxcast is going to be my version of a podcast where I talk about anything gaming related that's come out in the news recently that I don't necessarily want to make a full video about. So, if you like this style of video, make sure to leave a like and a comment telling me what you think I should do differently or things that you'd like to see on the Boxcast. So, for today's first episode, I'm going to talk to you guys about the newly announced PS5 price as it compares to the Xbox Series X price. And this is going to be more of a long and loose type of series of podcast where I don't really necessarily have notes unless, I really start stumbling over my words and stuff like that. Then maybe I'll start writing scripts for it. But I kind of wanted it just to be more my hot takes and impressions about gaming news and stuff like that that's happened recently. So just now, as I'm recording this video, the PS5 just announced its price, and it's going to be PS5 $499 for the full-fledged party disc model. And for the digital only edition, it's going to be $399. So keep that in mind. $499 for disc, $399 for discless. So that means $100 less just without a disc drive. Now, Xbox Series X is launching again for $499. So PS5 and Xbox Series X are going to be matched on price, $499 for the full fat model. But the Xbox Series S is launching with $299 as a price versus $399 for the PS5. So what's kind of interesting is that we all thought the reason that there was no price announced from Sony is because they were going to try to lowball Microsoft and make the price lower for the discless model or even just the base model of the PS5. But it turns out that they didn't do that. They actually went higher than Xbox with their low-end model. So they are $100 more. It's $100 more just to get a PS5 versus an Xbox Series X. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, I was heavily thinking that PlayStation would either go one of two ways. Either they would pull a PS3 and they would make the console like $599 and then $499 for the base and then the discless one. Or they would do $350 and $299, which admittedly that's pretty low. But I thought that they would try to lowball them a lot more, and they didn't. They actually went higher overall than Microsoft did. So I think that that's kind of interesting. But what is crazy about that is you can get an Xbox Series S for $299, $300. That's the price of a Switch, a Nintendo Switch base model. Very interesting. And when I heard that, I think that they announced the price of the Series S. No, they didn't announce the price of the Series S before they announced that Halo was delayed. I thought that they had announced it before Halo being delayed. And if they did not delay Halo and the Xbox Series S was only $299, I'm not going to lie and say that I wasn't tempted. I'm not going to lie and say I wasn't tempted because, as you should know by now, I'm a Halo fanboy, and I have an Xbox 360, I have an Xbox original. I only skipped the Xbox One, so I am an Xbox fan, if you will. But I also like PlayStation, I like Sony, and I think PS4 knocked it out of the park this generation. But overall, I think that PS5 is looking better, but that price tag of $299, that might be worth it, especially if they don't have a launch game, and especially if you're not a Microsoft gamer or an Xbox gamer, and you really only care about Game Pass. I wouldn't necessarily rule out the $299 as a heavy-hitting price. I mean, that's a really good barrier to entry. So when it comes around for holiday season, and people say, hey, I want a next-gen console, $299 is all you need to pay if you're not trading in your old Xbox, which I guess at GameStop you can trade it in for $100 credit. So you could potentially get a next-gen experience for $200. I think that that's crazy, especially being that you could only get a Nintendo Switch Lite for $200. So I think that Xbox is more competitive right now than they've ever been, but the problem still remains for me, and the reason why I just am not necessarily considering Xbox, which I am considering now because of the price, but the reason I'm more leaning towards PS5 almost exclusively is because there just isn't a game that I'm looking at for Xbox that I want. And especially since, if you watched that PlayStation announcement just now, a few minutes ago at the time of this recording, they showed a teaser for God of War 2, or God of War 2 5, or God of War 5, whatever it's going to be, the sequel to God of War 4, or God of War on PS4. They showed that at the end of the announcement, and that's slated for 2021. So to me, there wasn't anything on PlayStation 5 at launch that I wanted, but the fact that they have God of War coming in 2021 at all, even if it's holiday, that looks a little more compelling to me, especially as somebody who, of course, is a Nintendo fanboy for life. I'm not in a big rush to get either of these consoles because neither of them have a launch title that I really want. Now, if Xbox was coming out with Halo Infinite at launch, like it was supposed to, and we saw some better graphics in it, it was more cleaned up because it looked pretty generic, because I'm a Halo fanboy, I probably would have bit the bullet, and I honestly would have just got the Series X, the full fat Big Daddy Series X $499. But it would have been very compelling for me, even if, let's say, I didn't have the funds or the means to get the full fat Series X. I would have got the Series S, you know? So, and then maybe traded it in later for the full fat. I don't know. I like discs, so I probably would have just ended up getting the Series X. But the point is, now that they don't have that, honestly, for either console, either way, I just don't see a reason for me to get one at launch. And that's kind of a problem. And I think that this generation, they're relying a lot on, or I should say next generation, they're relying a lot on the back catalog to kind of pad out the launch window, which I don't necessarily like. So I guess Sony just revealed their, PS Plus subscription service. So it's kind of like Game Pass, except I guess it's going to be their answer to compatibility. So what they said was they're going to do PS4 games are downloadable on launch day on the PS5. All you have to do is go on your account and download them. So I don't know if that means if you get the disc model and you have the game physically, then you can go and plop it in and download the game. That'd be good. I still wouldn't consider getting a PS5 launch because I have a PS4 and I have all those games still physically. So to me, that's still not that big of a deal, but I do think that that's cool. And I do like that Xbox is launching with Game Pass on day one. So in theory, you have a lot more launch games than you ever had, but I'm talking about new exclusive experiences that you can't get anywhere else. And to me, there isn't a compelling title like a Breath of the Wild or like even Killzone or Halo or whatever it is. There's nothing really compelling me to get one of these next gen consoles at launch. So that kind of wraps up my thoughts on the next gen consoles and the next gen experiences. Leave a comment down below and tell me which one you're looking at. I think that PS5 did okay on that showcase, but there's nothing new that we didn't already see from the reveal trailer, and as far as I remember, as far as I know. So leave a comment down below. You tell me which one you think I should get, or the one that you're getting. I really do want to know that. The next piece of news I wanted to talk about, or the next topic I wanted to talk about, was the fact that everyone seems to really be hating on the Super Mario 3D AllStars collection. And I don't understand why that's the case. The Super Mario 3D AllStars collection, to me, looks amazing, and I can't wait to play it when it comes out in 2 days. But what I think people are mad about is the fact that they wanted more out of the game than Nintendo ever promised. And what I mean by that is, people expected a full remake of Super Mario 64. They expected a full remake of Sunshine. They expected a full HD remake and remaster of Galaxy 1 and 2. And they wanted it all in a bundle for $60. And my thing is, you guys, these games all came out at $60, and it's Mario, and Nintendo's probably still selling Wii games for $60. Now, if you don't want to buy the game, I will be more than happy to take your place and buy and play the game, because I think it's awesome. But a lot of people are upset that, oh, Mario 64 isn't at 1080p. Okay, whatever, man. Like, it's at 720p. Nobody cares. Well, I mean, not nobody cares, but I don't care personally. I think it's going to be awesome to play. Sunshine looks incredible. Galaxy looks incredible. And I'm excited to play them all. And people, I think, are just getting way too hung up on the little nitty-gritty details about frame rate and about, oh, you can't change the inversion on the controller. Who cares? When have you ever been able to do that in a Mario game? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I've never been able to change or I've never known of the ability to change my inversion or my button layout in a Mario game, except maybe Odyssey, but that's a very new and modern game. I just think people are complaining a little bit too much, and it's kind of ruining the excitement for me, but not really ruining the excitement for me, because I'm still going to play it, I'm still going to love it. And let me know in the comments if you guys are going to end up getting the Mario 3D All-Stars collection. I think this is going to wrap up the first episode of Boxcast. Kind of long and loose, kind of all over the place, but I just wanted to try something new, get it out there. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Leave a like if you liked it. Alright, dude, I'll talk to you later.